Have you ever held a piece of honeycomb and looked at those perfect hexagons? Every single one identical, locked together without a single gap? For thousands of years, everyone assumed the bees were doing that on purpose. They weren't. Today, we pull back the curtain. Stay until the end, because the real story took humanity 2,000 years to figure out. Most people assume bees are master architects, that somewhere inside the hive there's a plan, a blueprint the colony follows, cell by cell with almost military precision. It seems obvious, it seems logical, but it's almost completely wrong. The hexagon isn't a design decision, it's a consequence. And the difference between those two things changes everything you think you know about nature. To understand why honeycombs look the way they do, you have to look at one of the oldest problems in mathematics. How do you fill a flat surface completely without leaving any gaps using the smallest possible amount of material? Most people think circles are the obvious answer. Circles are efficient. Each cell starts out round. When a bee secretes wax and shapes a cell, she builds it as a cylinder, round, not six-sided. The hexagon doesn't exist yet, and that changes everything. Here's what nobody tells you about honeycomb. The bees build their cells at body temperature, around 35 degrees Celsius, which is close to the melting point of fresh beeswax. The wax is still soft when the cells are packed together. Think of it like pressing warm candles side by side. The walls don't stay round. They flatten where they touch. And because each cell pushes against 6 neighbors with equal force from every direction, each wall settles at exactly the same angle. Not because the bee planned it, because physics demanded it. The result is a perfect hexagon every single time. Without that warmth, without that pressure, the cells would stay round, and the gaps between them would waste exactly the space, and wax the colony can't afford to lose. And here's one more detail. A single hive produces less than 1 kilogram of wax per year. To make that wax, bees consume roughly 8 kilograms of honey. Every milligram matters. The hexagon isn't a luxury. It's the only shape the colony can afford to build. Here's where the story flips. The hexagon isn't just the most wax-efficient shape for a flat surface. It's also the strongest. The interlocking 6-sided walls distribute weight evenly in every direction, like a natural arch repeated 10,000 times across a single comb. Honeycombs can support more than 30 times their own weight without collapsing. And here's the detail that surprises almost everyone. Engineers figured this out and copied it. Airplane wings, racing helmets, satellite panels, all of them use a honeycomb core today. Not as a design choice. As the most load-bearing structure available per gram of material, the bees never designed any of it. Physics did. And here is the story that brings all of this together. In 36 BC, a Greek scholar named Marcus Terentius Varro wrote something that would haunt mathematics for centuries. Bees build hexagons because hexagons are perfect. Look closely enough, and the pattern speaks for itself. No wasted space, no overlap, every cell sharing its walls with the next. Everyone could see he was right. Nobody could prove it. For 2,000 years, mathematicians called it the Honeycomb Conjecture, the claim that hexagons are the single most efficient way to divide a flat surface into equal cells using the least total wall length. It seemed obviously true. Every scientist who looked at it agreed. But obvious and proven are two different things. Here's where it gets strange, because the person who finally proved it was someone nobody had expected to settle a question that old. In 1999, a mathematician named Thomas Hales put the question to rest. He proved once and for all that no shape divides a flat surface more efficiently than the hexagon. And one more detail that surprises almost everyone. Hales didn't set out to prove it or even study bees. He was working on a completely different problem, the stacking of spheres, when the honeycomb question crossed his path. He solved it almost as a detour. 2,000 years of open conjecture, closed in a side project almost by accident. The proof ran to 19 pages. It has never been challenged. The thing that looks most designed is often the thing nobody designed at all. Nature doesn't plan. It just keeps what works. Next time you see a honeycomb pattern on a kitchen tile, a jacket, a car grill, try this. Look at where the walls meet. Every junction, exactly 3 walls join at exactly 120 degrees. That's not a style choice. That's the only angle where the forces balance perfectly. You're looking at physics, frozen in place. If any of this surprised you, hit the like button. Share it with someone who thinks bees have a secret blueprint for building hexagons, and subscribe to Everyday Secrets for more hidden stories behind the things you never thought to question. What about honeycombs surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments.